All right, welcome to NFL Outdated Cover 2 series. This episode is on the 2021 Chicago Bears Fan of the Year. Destiny, how's it going?
It's going. How are you doing this
Hey,
morning?
any day I can talk about football is a great day, right?
You and my husband, y'all need to be best friends because that's all he talks about.
Absolutely. There are worse things to talk about and worse things to focus on. And unfortunately, it hasn't been a great season, wins and losses for the Bears. But personally, a definite win for you. Congratulations on being named 2021 Fan of the Year. How are you feeling about that? And what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think that it's set in, but I think when we get to SoFi in February, I think it's kind of gonna deeply, set in. But I'm still on cloud nine about it. They send different exclusive like Zoom events because of COVID and stuff like that. And then we were invited out. We were in the suite with when we played the Baltimore Ravens, and just being there was amazing. I wasn't even really like focused on like the actual game. It was just the experience of being able to be there and like the love and the hospitality. It's just I don't think it's really set in yet, honestly.
That's cool. Yeah, and you had that on your was it your Instagram or one of your other accounts, and just kind of that experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and as far as being named fan of the year, it's kind of a nomination process. And how did that work for you?
So I remember seeing the fan of the year. So we are like in their email blast of different contests, especially with my kids. They're on the Chicago Bears Kids Club. So they sent out different
For
contests.
Staley, right?
Yeah, for Staley and stuff like that. And
Yep.
actually, when I saw Big Cat, when they surprised me, we had been at Hallis Hall a couple of years ago. We were at Arlington for the Bears Day, so we got to meet a lot of the players. My kids got to run back and forth on their indoor field and stuff like that. And then I was a part of Bears Ladies Night for the past couple of years. So with VIP, you get to, and this is where Adrian comes in, because when he was the rookie class with the Bears, they were all in this big conference room, and it was him, it was Harold Jones Cordy, it was a lot of the rookies at that time. And then we got to tour the locker room, which is where on the picture you see me with the gloves, which was on the big screen. We got to walk down to the field, the Comcast, like the Bears Club thing. It was just insane. So I remember the contest. And I remember doing a focus group with, it was myself, and I can't even remember who I was in the focus group with, but they just basically wanted to get feedback from the fans about how can we interact with you all, mid COVID, because you all can't come to the games. You can't, meet and greet the players. There was no Bears Ladies Night. There was nothing that allowed us that interaction. It was none of the draft parties or anything that was in person. And he's like, well, yeah, we'll review the footage. If we like what you have, we'll invite you for a follow up. So that's what I thought this was. I'm just like, oh, this is a follow up thing. Oh, they got me. And I had no idea when this got into the works. But when I walked, I'm just like, wait a minute. It's this reporter. His name's Jerry Davidge. He does a lot of um, he's one of the best Post Tribune reporters out here in Northwest Indiana, but he's done a lot of stories on me in general. And then come to find out, the Bears must have researched and got in contact with him, and then he was involved with the whole surprise process. So I was shocked. I'm like, Jerry, what the hell are you doing? Like, what did you just do? So it was insane. So I don't know how. I think it was Jerry that actually did like the legit nomination. I think I may have applied at some point in time, but I think they contacted Jerry for like the extra push. Like, yeah, let's choose her.
That's awesome. And you were chosen, obviously. You're serving on the front lines, kind of as a nurse. Talk about kind of that experience, and how's that's kind of shaped you as well.
So I've always been in the medical field. So before I was a nurse, get out of there. Before I was a nurse, I was a surgical technologist. So back in 2011, I was pregnant with my younger daughter, and I ended up being out of work because of my pregnancy was just really crazy. And that was around the time when President Obama had got elected into office. So I wrote a letter to him because it's just like, hey, some of the things that I saw I wasn't seeing. And he wrote back. So then that
Wow.
went insanely viral. And then you have the negatives and stuff like that. So I'm just like, all right, well, let me go ahead and do something that wouldn't have me feeling as if I'm helpless. So I went to nursing school and I went ahead and I graduated. So my background has been in med surge, ER, um, acute rehab, memory care, different things like that. So when the pandemic happened, before that I was already a nurse, a minority nurse in a very, very hostile work environment.
Wow.
And it's like, compound that on top of something that's just stretching everybody thin. Nobody wants to come to work. You're working, I think I worked like 12, 13 days in a row, 16-hour shifts, sleeping at work, sleeping in my car, because there were people who were sick or calling out because they were simply afraid. And then
Mhm.
nursing, you can't abandon or you lose your license. So it's like I was on the front lines, but I was stretched just so thin. And then with COVID, and then I have a terminal illness now. It's more along the lines like, I'm still a nurse. Granted, I can't stand on that front line with my frontline workers who have just been in the trenches. And I just recently learned that one of my close nurse friends, she actually took her life behind all of this. And
Wow.
it sucks,
Yeah.
but we have to be strong. Like we gotta like take that breather, I guess.
Yeah.
Because then we're like, that's your job, that's what you signed up for. But it's not just that. It's not just being able to do the skill, it's having the mentality of being able to stand there and not break down in the process. And that's the hardest part, I could say.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And well, thank you for your service and just everything that you kind of meant to so many people. I can't even imagine. That's just huge. A lot of people take that for granted, and just really thankful to have people in your position that are willing to do that. And that's not easy.
Yeah, it's we definitely appreciate it. I mean, I just have to focus on those who need help and those who are willing to accept help, which is a really big difference. You can't help someone that doesn't want your help because of their beliefs. And I just kind of had to take my personal, feelings out about that, and treat them if they do or don't want to be treated. And it's like, you know,
Yeah,
that's exhausting, the convincing part on top of the like actual doing the skill. It's really tough.
absolutely. Well, speaking of convincing, did you have to be convinced to become a Bears fan? How did you become a Bears fan?
Oh, no, no, no. Um, I have always been just in sports, just
Hmm.
in general. I played sports in high school, middle school, high school. I have 3 kids. So my son, he is like the trifecta of an athlete. He's a senior this
Awesome.
year, just turned 18. He's a varsity football player. Their season just ended, unfortunately. Now he's into basketball and he's going to be in track. But as far as like just the Bears in general, I've always just been a Bears fan. And people are like, well, you live in Indiana, why aren't you a Colts fan? Well, it never happened that way. Shout out to my
Hmm.
dad. And
Hmm.
then even with basketball, I'm not a Pacer fan, and I've been a Bears Bulls fan since Subway had like the plastic hats, like with the horns and stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
always just been just my thing to just gravitate towards Chicago. And then
Hmm.
because we're always there, my kids are always in some kind of sports. My daughters dance for the Junior Lovables in Chicago, so I'm
Oh,
always in
cool.
the city anyway. My
Yeah.
son goes to Nike events and just different things that keep us centered down there. Like that just grows the love. I'm never in Indianapolis, so that's why I'm not a Colts fan. So
Well, I understand that. Like, I grew up in Iowa, and we just kind of gravitated towards Chicago sports. And me growing up, it was Jordan, and it's just, I mean, we were spoiled with Jordan and everything.
oh
Um,
yeah.
right, right. So, and going to games, with my dad and everything, it was just great. So, um, as far as your game experience, what would have been some of your kind of most memorable Bears game experiences?
So a couple of years ago, I got a chance to go to a Bears game. It was me and my son, and which was my first like real Bears game. Because as a nurse, you're never off on Sundays, never, ever,
Right.
ever, 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 ever. So when we finally got to go, it was just this thing. Like I've been there when it wasn't a game because we got all of the backstage stuff, but just to like be, I think I kind of just sat there because the tickets were really good anyway. I'm just sitting there like this. And it's like just being around like the fans, just being just that, like the people who, you know, have the face paint and the garb. It's just like like just everything about being there. And my first experience, like, I think I cried. I mean, I didn't care. We had the park like 15 miles away. Like the walking with the fans, and I think we won that game. So the walk back to the car was long, but we're all cheering and stuff like that. So just it's been, I don't know, like Bears games are just something that I hope everyone gets to experience, whether you're a fan or not. It's just being around other Bears fans has just been, it's awesome. It's like family, even though you don't know each other.
Well, yeah, and being a Bears fan, I've actually never been to Soldier Field. I've seen them when I lived in Minnesota. I was actually at that game that was, that when the dome popped. So I had to go to that game. I went to that game, but
Mhm.
but I have actually never been to Soldier Field. So, what is kind of that experience? The tailgating and everything like that. Did you get a chance to experience the tailgating and all that as well?
The game that we went to, we didn't, but when we were invited out this past couple weekends ago for the Ravens, when we were pulling in, I saw all of the tailgate, like it was insane. I'm like, wait, what? Because they don't show that on the news. So when we're driving by, it's literally a sea of barbecue pit smoke and flags and music. And while we weren't like in the thick of it, just to see it, you could see it from the highway from Lakeshore Drive. Once you're coming around and you're on that bridge and you pass McCormick, I'm like, what? Could you imagine getting out of that gridlock? We'll talk about that
Mm,
when we went to go see Gillette Stadium. But oh, like just seeing that, I'm like, damn, I wish I could get
mhm.
down there, because they say the tailgating, even though you don't have a barbecue pit, everyone's feeding everybody, everyone's talking, you can walk and you can converse, and it's not a hostile environment, it's not a rambunctious environment, quote unquote. It's like family, like a family reunion, a picnic, a cookout. And I'm gonna make it my business to try to get down there and walk around, even if I'm not eating. I have to be in that.
Absolutely. Well, and have you ever been to the, training camp at all, or?
Yeah, we went to Bears training camp out at Olivet University a couple
Okay, yeah.
times.
Yeah.
My kids were special guests because they were Bears, so they got to talk to Tom Thayer, Jeff Joniak, and then my kids got to meet Cody Whitehair.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I ended up going for the first time in 2019, and, it was just a great experience. Like, everything was kind of open, and, yeah, I loved the experience. Unfortunately, they've moved it away from that now.
Yeah, I saw it, but it was really condensed. Like you had to have a ticket, period, kind of thing, versus show up. We
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to go this year, but yeah, we did. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, speaking of players, who are some of your favorite players over the years? You talked about Adrian Amos. Who are talk about kind of your connection to him, and then some of your other favorite players over the years.
So when we go to like these different like fan only experiences or invite only experience, you get to have like that intimate relationship with the players. You get to talk to them, you get to, take pictures with them and selfies and things like that. So as everyone knows, Spice Adams is the most hilarious man alive right now. So when I got to do the Bears ladies night thing, it might be on my Twitter, but I'm front row. So I'm talking to Adrian, well, he's on stage, so we're like making fun of each other, whatever. But people like, I'm gonna go all the way back and say like Matt Forte, we got to meet him at
Oh yeah.
with Joakim Noah, Brandon Marshall, he was at Harry Carey's with my dad. Well, we all got to meet him at Harry Carey's. Um, some of the other, I guess, like people that don't talk about, like Devontae Bosby, he plays for the Denver Broncos now. Alshon Jeffrey, love him to death. And then when we talk about quarterbacks, like Jay Cutler, he's cool. Met him a couple of times. Mitch Trubisky, he's cool. Met him a couple of times. But like right now, like Cal Fuller, we love Cody Whitehair. Jimmy Graham gave me like a video thing. I wasn't
Wow.
paying attention to the Bears back then when Big Cat Williams was, but I knew who he was. I just never seen him play. In my lifetime when I started like actively watching the games. But
Mhm.
always I love, and I hope he sees it. I love David Montgomery. I
Yeah.
tell my husband all the time that, Davis Bay. You're gonna hear me say Bay. When we were in the suite and Bay was doing his thing, I'm like, yes, Bay. And my husband's like, hello, you have the ring. Excuse me. But I love that Mooney. Oh God, I love
Yes.
like everyone that's on the team right now, and even in I don't think that I've ever like said like, oh my God, I can't stand that person. Justin Fields, I really, really like him. Only because like he's a rookie and people are saying the hell out of him. And I think that he's proven himself, in the midst of everything that's going on. Andy Dalton, I like him. So I really don't have like a Bears player. I'm just like, oh, he wasn't a fit, because most of them I've met. And maybe I'm just judging how I like them and not because I've had interactions with them. So
Right.
when it comes to Adrian gifted my son 2 tickets to a Bears game for his birthday.
Wow.
Couple of years ago. I think it was a year before he left, but we've always just like kind of just had like that dialogue with him on social media. He follows all of us on social media, vice versa. He just got married. Congratulations. He's had another baby and he's doing so good with Green Bay. I know that's weird, but Adrian is a damn good defensive player. No matter who he plays with, Adrian is showing out. And I am so happy that he was doing it with us, but he really showing out with Green Bay, which is like that rivalry thing. So shout out to Adrian. He know we love him over here. That's the homie.
Absolutely. Hopefully he does well, but hopefully they lose in the NFC Championship game, right?
You know what? It's kind of hard. I think because my husband's really into fantasy football stuff, so like I'm really into the games that I wouldn't normally watch anyway.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be a good one to watch. I'm gonna keep my eye on that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you talked about some of the players. I've heard good things about Brandon Marshall. I know, just how good he was with people and everything. When he was there, and I got a chance to see, Mitch Trubisky sign autographs and everything like that. He was at the training camp and he stayed there the longest. These athletes a lot of them are great people. You just kind of like they're asked to do so much, extra, and it's not easy, and whereas it didn't quite work out for Mitch to be the quarterback, he seemed like a good guy that would, sign autographs, and I'm definitely gonna have to shout out to David Montgomery as well. So when I post this, so
I love him. Oh my God.
So talk about kind of have you met some of the other fans of the year, and what are you most excited about for that process, and obviously going to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, that's so I met, because we have Zoom events, it's in like every couple of weeks, so we kind of interact with that. There is a Facebook group that are specifically for these fans of the year, and then I guess the year or so prior. So we have like a Facebook group, and we have like an email chain, things like that, and then we all pretty much follow each other on social media now. So we've met, and a couple of them I think that they've like gone to games and then like coordinated meeting some of the other fans of the year at like these set games, like just regular season games. But we're all planning on how to turn up, in LA next year. But a couple of them have met in person because they're going to the regular season games together. But I haven't personally met any of them. I know when we play the Cardinals, I know Rob is, shout out to him. I'm saying I think I'm gonna try to figure that out. To try to get in contact with him. But yeah, like I can't wait. Like we're like a family. Like we joke and we talk all the time. And it's pretty damn cool because all of us are just sharing the experiences about what brings us together. And I know we're all in the neck and neck for the ultimate fan of the year. I'm not sure how they're judging that or how that works, but all of us are rightful candidates for that because we all have stories and amazing things that we're doing in the community, and especially with Brandon Marshall being with mental health. Mental health and domestic violence are like my two biggest things that I advocate for and that I push for because mental health is really with everybody. Just what happened with the Minnesota Vikings, like that hurt me to see that. And the fact, especially in the not even just in sports and healthcare, but just in the Black community, that is ignored so much. Because I could hear my grandma say, "Ain't nothing wrong with you. Go drink some ginger ale and lay down." Because it's just so like, ain't nothing wrong with you. But then just being a domestic violence survivor like that, and then being in a racially hostile environment while I'm trying to help my patients, mental health and domestic violence are the two biggest things that are so important to me. And I think we all can collectively, say that, that's something that we want to have change in. So we talk to our clubs about how to incorporate that, not just with the players, but with the fans who are having these issues too. Who can they talk to? Is there somebody that, can reach out to certain fans or have like some kind of a community or outreach thing just to get that conversation going? Because a lot of people don't want to talk about it until someone's in the news about it. Like,
Mhm.
homeboy from Minnesota, that was sad. And they were
Yeah.
joking about it. I'm just like, that's not funny.
Mm-mm. Yeah, there's so much that I think that with so much social media out there, you would think there would be more outlets, but it's still, it's not necessarily easy for some people to talk about. But you want to do that. You want to give them, just a place to be positive and know that they're not alone, and that's, you know, and obviously kind of as, with the fans of the year, I mean, you're not alone. I mean, that's kind of a cool group to be a part of. Like, do you know, um, like, is there going to be like some finalists for that, or is it just going to be all announced all at once, at and say, this is the winner? How is that going to go?
So from what I understand is that we were chosen as fan of the year for our individual team. So it's 32 of us out, 32, I think 32 of us
Hmm.
all together. And then each one of us are nominees for the ultimate fan of the year for the NFL just in general. So I'm not sure how they're choosing who that is. But that person is going to be announced and honored at the NFL Honors Dinner on Thursday, the weekend of the Super Bowl. So we're going to be out there doing media from Thursday to like Sunday evening. So that's when they're announcing it. So we don't know who's going to get it. And I don't know how they're going
Yeah.
to
Are
pick
you
it.
excited just kind of for that part? I mean, it's different kind of being, I mean, you're on the front lines as a nurse, but you don't have people kind of with a microphone in your face. You're just kind of doing your work and all that. Like, how are you kind of excited for that? A little nervous for that, or
I'm nervous only because, I never thought to go to the Super Bowl. It's always just been like an unattainable thing. We just watch it
yeah,
and move on. But I'm just excited to kind of, number one, like I know it's for my husband and I, but my son is somebody who I feel like could learn so much more from this process than me.
mm,
So he's not, going to be able to come to like, the Super Bowl and stuff like that. But um just taking what I'm learning from everybody, the clubs, the different, like we had a Zoom with the president of the NFL officials. Then we're going to have a Zoom with Roger Goodell next
oh
week.
wow,
Now, so it's just taking that information, and now I have transformed into my son's, his agent, his recruiter. But it's like I'm getting this information to help my son make better decisions in his athletic career. But just being in that, I don't know how I'm going to act, only because I'm not like fangirly. I'm more like a thing, like I'll just sit back like this. So they're probably gonna be like, "What's wrong with her?" But it's just a blessing to even just be able to be there with Super Bowl tickets going for like $75,000 for 500 level seats.
right,
And I hear sideline because our ticket, it doesn't have a section. So
wow.
a little birdie told me that we're gonna be on the green down there.
That would be amazing. I mean, that's it. It's just kind of you've already won. Just having that kind of experience. You're looking forward to is exciting. And just kind of a side note, has your son kind of decided what he wants to do for college in the future? Or
We've asked
yeah,
and asked and asked. He wanted to go to Oregon at first, and I'm like, no,
yeah,
I have to be able to knock on your dorm room door when I want to. So the issue with my son is that I tell him to go where, number one, go where they're paying you to go. So with me, I had $100 and some thousand dollars in loans, and because of my health, they've been
hmm,
told to discharge. Thank God.
yeah,
But my son he's an athlete, he's a scholar. So I
hmm,
tell him always, go for where they're paying you for your academics. My son is made of glass. I say that all the time. He's very injury prone. He's had an injury every year since like fifth grade. So when he was out last year, everyone around him is getting offers and he's not getting anything. And I'm just like, listen, there's a guy that graduated from my high school. He did not get an offer. He was a walk-on for IU Bloom, and he is breaking hella records at IU Bloom in football. So I
Mhm.
try to tell my son, like, listen, because you're not getting up, that doesn't mean you're not good. So one of our guys, JoJo, he got drafted and went not drafted, but he went to Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Our Kenneth Grant, KJ, number 78, he is committed to Michigan. So we're getting these good schools. But I tell my son, academics should always be first, because in my son's
Mhm.
case, he's always breaking something. You want to be able to still continue with school on a scholarship because you're still smart.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely trying to get him like, okay, you got to come down. I need to know 3 colleges. I need to know 3 majors. You need to research so we can get you to these places, because college tours are non-existent anymore because of COVID. Before,
Right.
on buses and drive across the USA and get to different things. Now everything's virtual. Well, you see what happened in Howard. They got moles and roaches and rats and stuff like that. And I'm not going to send my son into that kind of environment, but I want him to be able to visit these campuses, feel comfortable, because if he's going to be far away, he has to be comfortable with working through problems, because mommy's not, an hour or so away. So I'm using this as a teaching process with him. Like, I need some colleges so we can get you in, but the first thing you see should be academics only. Everything else is secondary after that.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, speaking through, working through problems, I noticed kind of, are you a split fan household? Is that a problem, or is your husband just a big Tom Brady fan, or talk about that?
So my husband has been Tom Brady. He has a Patriots tattoo on his arm.
Okay,
And I have a Bulls tattoo. I'm getting my Bears tattoo, I think, next week or something like that.
nice.
And so when I met him, he was LeBron James and Tom Brady. It's just
Okay,
always been like that. So the LeBron James thing kind of went away. And then, so just by default, I have to support his fandom, because he doesn't say anything
oh
really
yeah,
negative about my team, like that. But when Tom Brady came to Chicago a couple of years ago, we went to a bar downtown because he said, I have to be in the same city with Tom Brady. So he is just a faithful soul. My husband is, he is so meek. He's so mild. He's understanding. He is just everything. He's a great father figure to my kids.
mhm,
He's just everything. I'm like, what can I do to, kind of get all of this going? So I surprised him with tickets to go see the return of Tom Brady to Gillette Stadium.
wow, cool,
And I gotta send you that video. He was like, but on top of that, a couple months ago, I surprised him. I just flew him to Florida. He had no idea what we were doing. We went to Antonio Brown's gym opening down in
wow,
Florida. So we're kicking it with him, Sean Kingston, Michael Vick. And then I went a step further. Stay with me.
wow,
Are going to a family and friends barbecue/pool party at Gronk's mansion with Tom Brady after the season in April. So
wow,
I have this big like poster board thing. I'm like, just read it. And he's like, me with Tom Brady? Yes. So I
wow,
support his fandom because I can say that he is a really devoted and faithful Tom Brady fan. When it comes to the Bears, oh yeah, he'll cheer. He doesn't hate the Bears, especially when it comes to fantasy football. If
oh yeah,
they David Montgomery is getting him points on fantasy football and with sports betting with Rivers and stuff like that. Oh, he got the hat on, the jersey on, screaming at
oh
the TV
yeah,
like me. But it's split, but it's not like that confrontation.
yeah,
I could be dating a Green Bay fan, then we would really have a problem.
oh yeah,
We could be in trouble at that time. And when we saw someone with the Green Bay with a Aaron Rodgers jersey and a Justin Fields jersey in Chicago. I said, "Ooh, that's gonna."
that's that would be, yeah, that's, I'm living in here in Wisconsin. I don't have a problem rooting for the Brewers, but there's no way I could, go for the Packers. And my kids actually, they're Packer fans, and so it's kind of that's been a little bit of a split household, but it is what it is. So
Yeah, I buy him, Tom Brady stuff and all that stuff.
that's
I
awesome.
I support it.
Well, I'd say you more than support it. That's awesome. All those things. I mean, obviously, it sounds like being a nurse or giving, but even giving. I mean, that's amazing.
I have to give back only because I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be, you know, around with everything that's going on. So I think
Yeah.
I've accepted it. more than people like, wow, you're just so calm about it. I mean, there's just only so much that I can do, and there's only so much that I can be, you know, upset. It's just things happen, and I think being in my line of work just it has this it's kind of softened that blow for me, if that makes sense. And you know, I have three kids, and my youngest is 10. I have a 10, 12, and my son's 18. And my husband and I are newlyweds. We built a house. We just, you know, we
Oh
have a
wow.
lot of great things going on and happening, but you know, it's just, you know, just certain things that happen, and it kind of just takes you out the game for a little bit. So you know, rather than sit and be, you know, crying or mad about it, it's like, okay, if God says 2 more years, I'm gonna live the hell out of these 2 years and just, you know, go about it the best way I can. Hoping that, I mean, it's still terminal, but I'm just trying to just extend it just a little bit. So I'm
Yeah.
working with some amazing, you know, doctors at Northwestern, to try to, you know, figure out like what's the best route, because they know I have kids, and you know, I have a I have a long time to go before we're empty nest. I got another 8 years, so they gotta give me
Right.
at least 7 years, and I
Right.
right.
Well, it seems like, I mean, you're really leaving a fantastic legacy, you know, for your family, for the kids, and that's awesome. You know, just having that positive, you know, mindset. You know, I mean, that's, you know, everyone should kind of have that. You know, regardless. I mean, it's so easy to just kind of get frustrated by the littlest things, and you just, you know, focusing on kind of the bigger picture. I mean, that's important, and you know, kind of talking about the Bears, you know, do you see kind of a bigger picture kind of hope, you know, for them kind of going forward, obviously with Justin Fields and all of that? Or
So I tried to compare the seasons when we had Lovey Smith
mm.
and we had Mark Trestman.
uh, sorry.
Look, it's not
That was just evidently that happens every time someone brings up his name. But go ahead.
yeah, he was like Canadian football league kind of thing. But I mean, I I try to look for patterns and such.
Mm.
And John Fox, met him at camp, took pictures with him and stuff. And then now, you know, Matt Nagy. And so, for example, we almost lost to the Detroit Lions. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like 0-15, like we're talking not just this, but last year. We're talking about losing all most of last year and everything this year.
Hmm.
We almost lost to them. And I
Hmm.
have to ask myself, is it coaching, or do you have players that, and I might get backlash about that just don't know how to play football? This is the thing. As a nurse, I know my stuff. And there's not a supervisor that could tell me to do something that I know is A, not going to be beneficial to my patients, or B, is going to get me in a hell of a lot of trouble because it's not ethical. So I'm thinking, like, do you all just not know how to play like what's going on to where you all are old in 97? So when I look at everything that's going on with the Bears, I feel like we have the components. I hate that they got rid of Kyle Long. I hate that. And I'm just like, these were all excellent. I hate that we like, and I'm gonna keep going back to Adria because it's just like,
Hmm.
listen, we have lost Khalil Mack forever. And my son
Yeah.
played quarterback. He was on defense. Now he's too tiny. Now he's wide receiver. But then I got my son playing on both sides of the football. I'm just like, bro, my son's like 5 pounds. This is why we don't have him on defense anymore, because he keeps getting hurt. But anyway, so I'm trying to figure out, is it coaching? Is there some kind of disconnect there? Because I know you have defensive, offensive coaches, special teams. I know about all that because of my son. But what's wrong? Why does Detroit suck so bad?
Mm.
With the Bears, I think that Matt Nagy, I haven't given up on him. And oh, she doesn't know football. I'm a chick. I'm looking at more than that. We have to look at
Hmm.
how did the Bears perform under all of the previous coaches, John Fox, Trestman, Lovey Smith. I wish Lovey Smith could come back. But it's like, is this just been a consistent thing to where you can't just blame coaching? And I know that they've made roster moves, but still, what is the real issue? And I feel like Matt Nagy is not all of the problem. Oh, going on 4th and 1 and fire Nagy the chance. Oh, we heard that real loud up in the suites. I'm just like, and they saying it to his kid.
Yeah.
Necessary, because I can guarantee you now, nobody out there that was chanting that can get out there and take them hits like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody out here that can deal with that kind of thing. I was watching like most dangerous hits or whatever of the season, and I'm just like my son got hit. He got a helmet tugged this way and his body went that way. And my son was laying on that field a little too long, and I jumped that railing and I went out there and I got my kid. And just me, I know I couldn't take that kind of impact no matter what the padding is. So everyone's like, fire. Okay, so then what? Fireman, then what? Then what?
Yeah, and that's it's so easy. I mean, it's easy to kind of, if an NFL quarterback does bad, it's easy to be like, oh, let's put in the backup. Or, if the coach isn't doing well, to say, oh, let's just fire someone. But that is a great question. Who would be next? I actually tweeted out this morning my dream scenario. It sounds like Mike Tomlin's getting a little bit kind of disgruntled in Pittsburgh. My dream scenario would be he would leave Pittsburgh and become the Bears coach. That would be amazing. I think because you need someone with I don't know, that credibility with the players, and I think that's the toughest thing is, and maybe it's just organizationally, they haven't been able to find that kind of coach that's been able to just kind of bring everything together. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Obviously the Bears have never fired their coach in season. But they do need something to just kind of give them, a jump start. And, I think Fields is a real deal. I mean, and that might be part of it too, just having that quarterback that's going to be able to, be that star for us.
Yeah, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's the O line," and and I'm just like, it's hard for me because I'm not in that situation. I'm just a spectator like everybody else. So I don't know what you're yelling in the headset. I don't know what this means when you're, talking and stuff like that. But like I was telling my son, he's a wide receiver, and there was a time that he wasn't getting targets, and I don't know who, everybody would be able to say, "Hey, I'm open," kind of thing. But like I try to tell my son, and even in the NFL, if the play is drawn up for you not to get the ball, because my son doesn't do rushing yards, he does passing. We had an amazing, they call him 2K Tank Logan, 2,000 rushing yards. He broke the record at my high school. Like, that's our rushing yard person. So Tank's getting way more rushing yards in about 2 or 3 games than we've gotten, in 6 or 7 games just total for the season. So if the play is not drawn up for my son to get the target for the passing yards, you can't get frustrated that nobody threw it to you, because even if you were open, that play wasn't drawn up for you to get the ball. So I'm thinking about, are these plays drawn up to where it's kind of putting Fields in a messed up situation? Well, okay, y'all need to try something different, especially the way they were sacking the hell out of him in that game. I'm just like, okay, y'all need to do something else or something. I think it's more of play calling versus him not being able to do the job. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. I mean, you kind of bring up your son as well. I mean, that's got to be difficult, when he's kind of wanting to get offers and things like that. And, he wants, you have this kind of, you want to get kind of numbers to prove that you can do it, but then you also want to be, shown that you're a team guy and all of that. And, with the Bears, you have Allen Robinson. I tell you, I'm going to miss him when he's gone. I don't, and I don't think they're going to re-sign him. He's been, one of the classiest, wide receivers. He hasn't been getting the targets, but he has not been. It seemed to be like as public about it, as some other wide receivers, and but a lot of that, I think, it is on play calling.
Yeah, I kind of got wind of the drama. I think he had posted something on Instagram or something like that. I mean,
did he? Oh, he recently did that, or when did he?
Oh, this was back, I think, when they were doing the contract thing like that. I mean, because everyone, he's not happy in Chicago, and I think that came from him either posting something or deleting a bunch of Chicago Bears stuff off Instagram.
Oh, yes, yep.
See that, but I mean, I heard about it. But the thing about it, like, he may be upset about that, and most players who just like don't give a F or whatever. Like they would just start sucking, dropping passes, not caring, just different things to where he could get that trade because now he's not performing. And I just like that he's professional because he's still doing his job,
Mhm.
even though he's not happy with where he is. And that goes for everybody. I love
Mhm.
being a nurse. But this last job I had to walk away from in January, Lord have mercy, I had to pray that I walked out of there with my sanity every day. And it wasn't that the work was hard. Allen Robinson, no, the work's not hard. It's just the people that I'm working for. I think that's his argument. It's like, I
Mhm.
love doing this, but y'all got to help me out here. Like, I need some help with this and plays and whatever the case may be. And I think that, like, his attitude is kind of like what everyone's experiencing now with, just being somewhere where you really, really hate where you're at, but you kind of sort of got to push through because that's your quote unquote job.
Mhm.
So,
That's a great connection to,
oh, right.
obviously, non-football players. Yeah. I mean, you have to push through. You can't just quit. And, that's what I like about him as well. So you talk about rooting for Adrian Amos on a different team, and I'm hoping Allen Robinson is not a Packer, but, I'm going to be rooting for him even, next year, wherever he's at as well. So,
Yeah, I think that's like with my husband. Even though Tom left, New England, he's a Tom Brady fan. So his fandom is, I know, I think it was Zeke or Dak Prescott were talking about like the bandwagon fans that jump around and stuff like that. And it's just like, whatever. But my husband is a true Tom Brady fan. Like he is
mhm.
Tom and Gronk and Julian Edelman. Like
Oh
he
yeah.
is like like he loved regardless of the team. So um kind of stuff, but I'm an Adrian Amos fan, because of who he is as a player and his athletic and capabilities and things like that. I don't care that he plays for Green Bay. I'm not gonna stop supporting a good friend of ours who is a damn good player because of who he plays for. When I tweeted, I said, minus the team he plays for, y'all got to get Adrian his props because he been intercepting and he has been doing his, and I am
Mhm.
so proud of him. I'm so proud that he has that relationship with my son, so my son can look at that because when they put him on corner on the other side of the ball, like they do, like that's his go-to guy. Like that's who he watches. That is who he
Mhm.
idolizes. Like I got to be more like Adrian, and I'm so happy with him with that. Like oh my god, like
That is
you know,
cool to have those connections. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I could definitely, talk Bears football, all day, and I appreciate you coming
Yes.
on, and I'm excited for you. Congratulations again on being fan of the year, and definitely have to have you on, after your experience, and just kind of let me know, let us, how it went and all of that. So, um, everyone can find you then on Twitter, right? And where else?
Yeah, so my Twitter is at DS underscore TUH underscore NEE Destiny 85. Not on Facebook at the moment. My Instagram is private, but you can request me. It's at 5 feet FEET the number 4 inches underscore 219. And I am also on TikTok at your fave nurse 219. Most of my social media things is in my Twitter bio. So shoot me a follow. I have a lot of articles up there. I tweet a lot about shoes. I'm a retired sneakerhead. I'm one of the top 3 women collector sneakerheads in the Northwest Indiana region. Is myself and 2 other young ladies that have the best collections of Grail, Heat, Dead Stocks, anything like that. Been in the sneaker game about 15 years now, and I just
Wow.
kind of recently retired because of my health and things like that. So but more often on my social media, I don't tweet about politics. I don't get into all of that. But at the same time, I do advocate for domestic violence
Mhm.
victims. I advocate for mental health. I think you might have looked on my TikTok and seen a couple of
Yeah.
videos about a lot of issues that
Yeah.
that we experienced personally, and I hate that it ended like that. And then you're gonna see a lot of K-pop stuff because my daughters and I are big BTS fans, so they're at SoFi. We're gonna be at SoFi, so
That's
um,
awesome.
I have a lot of different things going on my social media. So, good, bad, comment, come say hi, come check out everything. But I'll definitely be chronicalizing, this once in a lifetime experience because I doubt that without the Bears, without the organization that I love them so much, I would have never been able to see this while I was living and experience that. And I'm happy that my kids are going to be able to experience it, especially my husband as well, because they deserve it, especially putting up with me and my mess and my health all over the years. They deserve it.
Awesome. Well, and I know you deserve it too. So, thanks again, Destiny. Once again, this has been an NFL Outdated Cover 2 series on Chicago's Bears Fan of the Year. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks for having me. Stay safe and well, and I will see you in a few months.